This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's mention that after he leaves WCW, he shows up in ECW for a short but rather memorable run. Paul Heyman is going to let him be him. He'll mock Hulk Hogan. He'll take shots at Eric Bischoff, and then he'll just pour his heart out into the camera one night. And the result is even Kevin Nash mentions to Vince that Steve Austin is the hottest free agent out there. And of course, the context of the time is this is September, October, November, December. This is 95, not 96. So Nash is still very much on the WWE side of the fence, but Austin clearly has allies here, even in the locker room.
Yeah, well, Steve was very well respected. He didn't bitch and moan about things that he couldn't control. There's not enough hot water in the dressing room. Dressing room's too small. I need a better place to park. All that shit. He's a man's man, still is, and that's why he's so well respected. He wasn't a bullshitter. If you sit down with Steve to have a talk and you want his advice on something, bet your ass you're going to get honest advice. You may not like what you hear, but honesty is going to be forthright.
I wanted to ask, whenever you're talking about bringing in a new talent like this to the WWF, does Vince sort of have in his mind's eye where a guy is? I ask because you wrote in Austin's book that he was brought in basically to be a mechanic and probably not achieve more than the Intercontinental title. Does Vince, in your opinion, look at a guy and say that could be a top guy, or hey, he could be a good mid-carder?
Yeah, I think all bookers do.
Yeah.
And what you hope you get, Conrad, in those hires is overachievers. We thought he was at best the Intercontinental title level when the Intercontinental title actually meant more perhaps than it does today. And that's not a jab. It's just a matter, I think there are too many titles and all around the business. They start getting diluted. But he was a man's man, and guys liked him. He could talk sports. He could talk we could talk rock and roll. Food, drinking. He was a man's man, and he was a tough bastard. And so he earned the respect of everybody that he worked with, whether it be for $25 a night in Memphis to bigger money later on. Hey, folks, it's time to take your podcast game to the next level. And you certainly want to get your almighty push. My God, we have to have a push, right? We'll get that over to adfreeshows.com. Now, I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Grilling JR, adfreeshows.com has the entire episode library, and it's got no ads, zero ads, zilch, none. Ad-free and on video starting at just $9. Did you hear what I said? $9. You spend more than that at Starbucks, for God's sakes. 2 mornings. If that's not all, folks, we got tons of bonus content, including my after-hours roundtable, where drinking was involved with Eric and Tony. You simply will not find a better value in all of wrestling. Hey, look, don't make me go red ass, because by God, you know I will. Hurry over to adfreeshows.com right now and sign up. And I thank you.
We also want to mention the change in the appearance. When we last saw him in WCW, he had these long flowing locks, and now he's got more of a crew cut look. And I think he said before that was inspired by Pulp Fiction, the Bruce Willis character. What did you think of the crew cut look?
I didn't mind it, quite frankly. I'm not going to say it's better than the bald, because I thought his look, what it is now, what he's developed. I mean, come on, Conrad. He's done a lifestyle. Look at these guys on ESPN, for example. Watch how many shows. Watch any of them you want to watch, or the football shows, and how many on-air talents there have a shaved head and a goatee. When did that become popular? Oh, I can tell you. When this guy named Stone Cold Steve Austin started breaking the glass.
That's right.
So he ignited a style a vibe. And that look then identified with success and toughness, two traits that men love. There's only probably one or two things in life we want more than success and love. And one of them might be, romantically oriented. But he was that was just him, man. He was just really, he would always been the captain of the team. And I don't know if he won it by popular vote, but because they might have been afraid of his power. But he had to change so many things in his life. He was going through so much turmoil, and and the drinking was an issue. And he'll tell you that today. For both of us, drinking was an issue. But that's how he escaped. And it's an excuse. It's not a reason, folks. It's an excuse, and it's a big escape. That's what we all had to do. You have to find your exit, and that room that the exit leads to, and that's what Steve found his room. And hand it to Vince. Vince had to change his thinking a lot, because we all knew that Vince over the years was partial to some talents. Ironically, they're the talents that drew the most money.
Yeah. Ta-da.
How about that? Who'd have thunk it? So, but Vince changed a lot in how he managed talent, using Steve as a starting place. Conrad. He saw he had, in the same way today, talents today have to be managed differently than they were managed when I was doing it, because they're smarter. They have more product knowledge. They're not interesting because of need, or it's their only job they could have in this world. They're in the business because it's what they've always wanted to do. We got a locker room full of those guys at AEW, and I miss that. I miss seeing them. I'll see them for the first time in over a month, hopefully next week. So it's just a different way. You got to, in other words, Conrad, you got to communicate with. And now you've been in the mortgage business for a good while now. You developed a lot of success because the product is great and the service is wonderful. I think Raphael's got a mortgage with you.
He did. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's cool. And he's very happy with it. So, but Vince had to change, and that's to his credit. He don't get the credit he deserves. But Steve came out of nowhere and assumed eventually the spot. So I just, there's so much change going on in our personal lives and the company's growth. You guys were making more money, Conrad, than they ever dreamed they'd make. They didn't know what to do with it. Some guys made good investments like real estate or something, or buying properties. And some of them bought more Rolexes and more $5,000 suits. So that's your call. It's their money. But a lot of the guys in that era, in the Attitude Era, had no clue that kind of money was available to them. I remember one year, it might have been a little bit after this, but the number was like 21 or 22 millionaires on the roster.
Wow.
That made over $1 million in that era, way back then. And you think some of those dudes are prepared for that? I mean, they didn't know what to do with it. Well, I always say, well, one thing I'd sure do is have me an accountant, a certified public accountant, not Uncle Charlie down the street who's got a computer. And the other thing, most importantly perhaps, pay your fucking quarterlies. Because Uncle Sam don't do no jobs. End of story.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.